Are you tired of feeling like a hamster on a wheel, running around but getting nowhere? Do you ever find yourself questioning the things you've always believed? If so, then you're not alone. In today's fast-paced world, it's easy to get caught up in the noise and lose sight of what truly matters. But what if I told you there's a way to cut through the clutter and find clarity? Enter Stoicism. This ancient philosophy, practiced by Roman emperors and philosophers alike, offers a practical guide to living a good life. By understanding the core principles of Stoicism, you can develop a stronger mind, make better decisions, and navigate life's challenges with greater resilience. But what does Stoicism have to do with critical thinking? Everything. The Stoics were masters of logic and reason. They understood that by questioning our assumptions and seeking out evidence, we can make more informed choices and live a more meaningful life. In this topic, we'll explore the connection between Stoicism and critical thinking. We'll delve into the ancient texts, examining the ideas of philosophers like Epictetus, Marcus Aurelius, and Seneca. But we won't just be looking at ancient history. We'll also be applying these ideas to modern-day challenges, from navigating social media to making big life decisions. Ready to sharpen your mind and unlock your full potential? Let's embark on this journey together and discover how the wisdom of the Stoics can transform your life. Lesson 1. Question everything. Are you a sheep or a wolf? In today's world, we're constantly bombarded with information. News, social media, and even our friends and family are all trying to tell us what to think. But how do we know what to believe? The Stoics, those ancient Greek and Roman philosophers, had a simple answer: question everything. Why question everything? It might seem like a lot of work, but questioning everything is actually a shortcut to a better life. When we question our beliefs, we're more likely to discover the truth. By digging deeper, we can uncover hidden biases and assumptions, make better decisions. When we're armed with all the facts, we can make more informed choices, become more resilient. Questioning our beliefs helps us to be more open-minded and adaptable. So, how do we start questioning everything? Let's break it down. Challenge your assumptions. What you think you know might not be true. For example, do you really know why you believe what you believe about politics, religion, or even your favorite sports team? Seek out multiple perspectives. Don't just rely on one source of information. Read different news outlets, listen to podcasts, and talk to people with diverse viewpoints. Be open to being wrong. It's okay to admit when you're wrong. In fact, it's a sign of strength. Practice critical thinking. Ask yourself questions like, what's the evidence for this claim? Are there any logical fallacies? What are the potential consequences of believing this? A real-world example. Let's say you're thinking about buying a new car. Instead of just going with the first one you see, you might ask yourself questions like, what are my needs and wants? What are the pros and cons of different models? How much can I afford? By questioning your assumptions and doing your research, you're more likely to make a wise decision. Remember, the goal isn't to become a cynic, but to become a more thoughtful and informed individual. The Stoics taught us that by questioning everything, we can live a more meaningful and fulfilling life. Lesson 2. Seek the truth. Remember that scene in The Matrix where Neo takes the red pill? That's kinda what seeking the truth is like. It's about diving deep into the rabbit hole and questioning everything you thought you knew. Why bother seeking the truth? Well, for starters, it's like having a superpower. When you know the truth, you're not easily swayed by others. You can make informed decisions, and you can live a more authentic life. The Stoics, those ancient Greek and Roman philosophers who were all about living a good life, were huge advocates for seeking the truth. They believed that the pursuit of knowledge was essential for human flourishing. So, how do we go about seeking the truth? Here are a few tips. Be skeptical. Don't believe everything you read or hear. Just because someone says something doesn't make it true. Do your own research. Don't just rely on one source of information. Look for multiple perspectives. Ask questions. The more questions you ask, the better understanding you'll have. Be open-minded. Be willing to change your mind if you're presented with new evidence. Practice critical thinking. Think deeply about the information you're consuming. Is it logical? Is it supported by evidence? A real-world example. Imagine you're trying to decide on a new diet. Instead of just following the latest fad, you decide to do some research. You read studies, talk to experts, and consider your own body's unique needs. This is seeking the truth. Remember, the truth isn't always comfortable. Sometimes it can challenge our beliefs and force us to confront our own biases. But that's okay. In fact, it's necessary for personal growth. As the Stoic philosopher Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." When we seek the truth, we're taking control of our own lives and making conscious choices. Lesson 3. Focus on what you can control. Ever felt like you're drowning in a sea of problems? Like no matter what you do, there's always something else going wrong? Well, the Stoics had a pretty clever way of dealing with this. They said, focus on what you can control and let go of the rest. Why bother focusing on what you can control? It's simple. Worrying about things you can't change is a waste of time and energy. It's like trying to change the weather. You can't. But you can control how you react to the weather. The Stoics, those ancient Greek and Roman philosophers who were all about living a good life, were masters of this concept. They understood that life is full of uncertainty, but we can find peace by focusing on what's within our power. So, what can you actually control? Your thoughts. You can't control what happens to you, but you can control how you think about it. Your actions. You can choose how to respond to any situation. Your words. What you say can have a powerful impact on yourself and others. Your values. Your values guide your choices and actions. A real-world example. Let's say you're stuck in traffic. You can't control the traffic, but you can control how you react. You can choose to get angry and stressed, or you can choose to use the time to listen to a podcast or audiobook. Epictetus, a famous Stoic philosopher, said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." It's a simple idea, but it's incredibly powerful. How can you apply this to your life? Identify what you can and can't control. Make a list of things you can and can't control. This will help you to focus your energy on the right things. Practice mindfulness. Pay attention to your thoughts and feelings in the present moment. Let go of what you can't control. Accept that there are some things you simply cannot change. Focus on your actions. Take small steps every day to improve your life. Remember, you're not powerless. You have more control over your life than you think. By focusing on what you can control, you can live a more peaceful and fulfilling life. Lesson 4. Avoid hasty generalizations. Ever heard someone say, "All politicians are corrupt"? That's a classic example of a hasty generalization. It's when you jump to a conclusion about a whole group based on limited information or a single experience. The Stoics, those wise old Greeks and Romans, warned us against this kind of thinking. Why is it a bad idea? Well, for starters, It's just not fair. It's like judging an entire book by its cover. It also leads to stereotypes and prejudices, which can harm relationships and create divisions. Plus, it's simply not logical. So how do we avoid making hasty generalizations? Be mindful of your biases. We all have biases, but it's important to be aware of them so we can try to overcome them. Seek out diverse perspectives. Talk to people from different backgrounds and cultures. You might be surprised by what you learn. Consider the evidence. Before making a generalization, ask yourself if there's enough evidence to support it. Avoid stereotypes. Be wary of stereotypes and try to see individuals as unique individuals. A real-world example. Let's say you meet a rude person from a certain country. It would be a hasty generalization to conclude that all people from that country are rude. You'd be ignoring the fact that there are billions of people in that country, and it's not fair to judge them all based on one person's behavior. The Stoics emphasized the importance of being rational and objective. They encouraged us to think critically and to avoid making judgments based on emotions or limited information. How can you apply this to your life? Be open-minded. Be willing to consider other points of view. Practice empathy. Try to see things from other people's perspectives. Avoid making assumptions. Don't assume you know what someone is thinking or feeling. Challenge your own beliefs. Be willing to question your own assumptions. Remember, everyone is different. By avoiding hasty generalizations, you'll be able to build stronger relationships and have a more positive outlook on life. Lesson 5. Practice mindfulness. Ever caught yourself lost in thought, replaying a stressful conversation or worrying about the future? That's your mind wandering. The Stoics, those ancient Greek and Roman philosophers, had a solution: mindfulness. It's about being present in the moment, without judgment. Why is mindfulness important? Mindfulness helps you reduce stress. By focusing on the present, you can let go of worries about the past or future. Improve your focus. Mindfulness can help you to concentrate better and be more productive. Increase self-awareness. You'll learn to recognize your thoughts and feelings without getting caught up in them. Boost your emotional intelligence. Mindfulness can help you to understand and manage your emotions better. So, how do you practice mindfulness? It's simpler than you think. Here are a few tips. Meditation. Sit quietly and focus on your breath. Notice your thoughts and feelings without judgment. Mindful eating. Pay attention to the taste, texture, and smell of your food. Mindful walking. Focus on your senses as you walk. Notice the feeling of your feet on the ground, the sounds around you, and the sights you see. Body scan. Pay attention to different parts of your body, noticing any sensations or tension. A real-world example. Imagine you're feeling overwhelmed at work. Instead of letting your thoughts race, take a few deep breaths and focus on your senses. Notice the feeling of your chair against your back, the sound of your keyboard, and the temperature of the room. This simple act can help to calm your mind and improve your focus. Marcus Aurelius, a Stoic emperor and philosopher, wrote, "Everything we hear is an opinion, not a fact. Everything we see is a perspective, not the truth." Mindfulness helps us to question our thoughts and beliefs and to see things more clearly. How can you apply mindfulness to your life? Start small. Even a few minutes of mindfulness practice each day can make a big difference. Be patient. Mindfulness is a skill that takes time to develop. Don't judge yourself. If your mind wanders, simply bring it back to the present moment. Remember, mindfulness is not about emptying your mind. It's about noticing your thoughts without getting caught up in them. Lesson 6. Cultivate Virtue. Ever wondered why some people seem to handle life's challenges with grace and ease, while others struggle? It's not just luck, it's virtue. The Stoics, those ancient Greek and Roman philosophers, believed that cultivating virtue was the key to a happy and fulfilling life. What is virtue anyway? Virtue is basically being a good person. It's about developing qualities like wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. Think of it as building character. Why bother cultivating virtue? Virtuous people tend to be happier, healthier, and more successful. When you act with virtue, you're more likely to make good decisions, build strong relationships, and live a life that's meaningful. So, how do we cultivate virtue? Practice self-awareness. Pay attention to your thoughts, feelings, and actions. Set goals. Decide what kind of person you want to be and take steps to become that person. Practice gratitude. Focus on the positive aspects of your life. Help others. Volunteer your time or donate to a cause you care about. Learn from your mistakes. Everyone makes mistakes. The important thing is to learn from them and grow. A real-world example. Let's say you're feeling stressed about work. Instead of lashing out at a coworker, you take a deep breath and try to understand their perspective. This is an example of practicing the virtue of temperance. Marcus Aurelius, a Stoic emperor and philosopher, said, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." It's a simple idea, but it's incredibly powerful. How can you apply this to your life? Start small. Choose one virtue you want to focus on and practice it every day. Be patient. Cultivating virtue takes time and effort. Don't be afraid to fail. Everyone makes mistakes. The important thing is to keep trying. Remember, virtue is not about being perfect. It's about striving to be the best version of yourself. Lesson 7. Embrace disagreement. Ever had a heated debate with a friend or family member? Or maybe you've found yourself scrolling through endless comments on social media, feeling increasingly frustrated and annoyed. Disagreements are a normal part of life, but how we handle them can make all the difference. The Stoics, those ancient philosophers, had a unique perspective on disagreements. They understood that disagreements are opportunities for growth and learning. By engaging in respectful dialogue, we can challenge our own beliefs, develop empathy, and build stronger relationships. Why is it important to embrace disagreement? Fosters growth. Disagreements can help us to see things from a new perspective and challenge our own assumptions. Builds stronger relationships. By learning to disagree respectfully, we can strengthen our bonds with others. Improves decision-making. Considering different viewpoints can lead to better decisions. So, how do we embrace disagreement? Listen actively. Pay attention to what the other person is saying without interrupting. Seek to understand. Try to see things from their perspective. Find common ground. Look for areas of agreement. Be respectful. Even if you disagree, treat the other person with respect. Avoid ad hominem attacks. Focus on the argument, not the person. A real-world example. Imagine you're having a discussion with a friend about politics. You have different opinions on a particular issue. Instead of getting defensive or attacking your friend's character, try to understand why they feel the way they do. Ask them questions about their beliefs and share your own perspective calmly and respectfully. Marcus Aurelius, a Stoic emperor and philosopher, once said, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." This means that instead of focusing on convincing others to see things your way, focus on being a good person yourself. How can you apply this to your life? Practice empathy. Put yourself in someone else's shoes. Be open-minded. Be willing to consider different viewpoints. Seek out diverse perspectives. Talk to people who have different opinions than you. Remember, disagreements don't have to be negative. They can be opportunities for growth and learning. By embracing disagreement, you can become a more well-rounded and empathetic individual. Lesson 8. Practice logical reasoning. Ever been in a debate where someone just knew they were right, even when their argument didn't make sense? That's where logical reasoning comes in. The Stoics, those ancient Greek and Roman philosophers, were big on thinking clearly and rationally. They understood that the ability to reason well was essential for living a good life. Why is logical reasoning important? Makes better decisions. By thinking critically, you can weigh the pros and cons of different options and make more informed choices. Avoids manipulation. Logical reasoning helps you to see through fallacious arguments and avoid being swayed by emotional appeals. Improves communication. When you can construct clear and coherent arguments, you're more likely to be understood and persuasive. So how do you practice logical reasoning? Identify assumptions. What are the underlying beliefs that support an argument? Look for evidence. Is there sufficient evidence to support the claim? Consider alternative explanations. Are there other ways to interpret the evidence? Avoid logical fallacies. Be aware of common errors in reasoning, such as ad hominem attacks, straw man arguments, and false dichotomies. Practice deductive and inductive reasoning. Deductive reasoning is moving from general principles to specific conclusions, while inductive reasoning is moving from specific observations to general conclusions. A real-world example. Let's say you're trying to decide whether to buy a new car. You might start by listing the pros and cons of buying a new car versus a used car. You could also consider factors such as your budget, lifestyle, and the reliability of different car brands. By systematically evaluating the evidence, you can make a more informed decision. Epictetus, a Stoic philosopher, famously said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." When we approach problems with a logical mindset, we're less likely to let our emotions cloud our judgment. How can you apply this to your life? Practice every day. Try to solve puzzles, play strategy games, or engage in debates to improve your logical reasoning skills. Read critically. Analyze the arguments presented in articles, books, and speeches. Question your beliefs. Don't be afraid to challenge your own assumptions. Remember, logical reasoning is a skill that can be developed with practice. By making a conscious effort to think critically, you can improve your decision-making abilities and live a more fulfilling life. Lesson 9. Continuously learn and grow. Ever felt like you've hit a plateau in life? Like you've learned all there is to know? Well, the Stoics would tell you that's a dangerous mindset. They believed that learning is a lifelong journey and that the pursuit of knowledge is essential for a fulfilling life. Why is continuous learning so important? Adaptability. The world is constantly changing, and those who can adapt the best will thrive. Growth. Learning new things helps you to grow as a person. Satisfaction. There's a deep sense of satisfaction that comes from learning something new. So, how do you cultivate a growth mindset? Read widely. Expose yourself to different perspectives and ideas. Take courses. Whether online or in person, there are countless opportunities to learn new skills. Seek out mentors. Learn from people who have more experience than you. Practice regularly. Consistent practice is key to mastering new skills. Embrace Challenges. View challenges as opportunities to learn and grow. A real-world example. Let's say you're feeling stuck in your current job. Instead of staying complacent, you could decide to take an online course to learn a new skill. This could open up new opportunities and help you to advance your career. Marcus Aurelius, a Stoic emperor and philosopher, once said, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be one." This means that instead of just talking about wanting to improve, we should actually take action. How can you apply this to your life? Set learning goals. What do you want to learn? Create a learning plan. Break down your goals into smaller, more manageable steps. Find a learning buddy. Having someone to learn with can make the process more enjoyable. Remember, learning is a journey, not a destination. There will always be more to learn, and that's a good thing. By embracing a growth mindset, you can unlock your full potential and live a more fulfilling life. So, there you have it. By blending the timeless wisdom of the Stoics with the practical tools of critical thinking, we've explored a powerful path to a more fulfilling life. Remember, it's not just about knowing the right things, it's about applying that knowledge to your everyday experiences. As you embark on your own Stoic journey, remember these key takeaways. Question everything. Don't accept things at face value. Always seek evidence and consider alternative perspectives. Focus on what you can control. You can't control everything that happens to you, but you can control your thoughts, actions, and reactions. Cultivate virtue. Strive to be a person of wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. Practice mindfulness. Be present in the moment and pay attention to your thoughts and feelings without judgment. Remember, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. Start small by incorporating just one Stoic practice into your daily life. As you progress, you'll find that your ability to think critically and live a more fulfilling life will continue to grow. The Stoics weren't just philosophers, they were everyday people who faced the same challenges we do. They found a way to live a meaningful life, even in the face of adversity. And so can you. So, go forth and conquer. Apply the principles of Stoicism to your life and watch as your world transforms. After all, as the Stoic philosopher Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters."